Testing, testing. Hopefully it's going through. Keep having problems, but I'm figuring it out slowly but surely. Um, Sorry, I'm opening up a monster. Kind of fatigued today. Been working hard and trying to continue grinding and striving and take heed of even the words I'm trying to tell you guys. Uh, that sip's for the boys and the girls too. You got shouts out everybody. But today's topic, I wanted to talk about the art of being patient. Now, I know that just sounds kind of like out of nowhere, maybe goofy, but patience really does help you get through tough times and quiet times and times of just uncertainty. And it seems to be in most like spiritual aspects when I search through other religions and everything else that there's an art of being patient per se in every aspect. They all tend to tell you to have some sense of patience and not to have a sense of urgency or at least controlled urgency, like when it's necessary. Um, but to be okay with kind of the flow of life. I like the quote by Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is one of the guys I follow the most. I mean, he inspired me to keep going and to be the man I am today. On top of Jesus, Jesus is very wise. Buddha, very wise. There's more out there. X, shout out X, but that's besides the point. Um, Bruce Lee said, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, and it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend." Shouts out Bruce Lee for that. But what I take away from that, because it's all your own perception and your own perspective. Um, but what I take away from that is, we can flow or we can crash, and at times it's an uncontrolled emotional crash, and at times we can control our flow state. But I think being patient helps you be in a flow state, be in that water that flows, that river that flows down or the water that flows down the bank state. Sorry, stumbling on my words. Again, I'm just kind of winging it like I did last time, off the dome. Um, but yeah, patience really does help one's self. One's being and mental state. Because in times of crisis, in times of pain and anguish, we can falter and get stuck in our heads. Or at times of uncertainty, quiet times of I don't know where this is going. I'm just kind of on the day to day, continuing forward. I don't know when my blessings will come or when I will achieve this dream I'm in search for, or achieve what I'm wanting to achieve, or just when this will come or that will come, or when this will die down or will come up per se. Uh, just like in the emotional moments and even the worldly moments that kind of break you down or even bring you up really high up, make you sit in that pedestal, it's still good to be patient. It's good to be patient with others, so we don't argue or let our emotions take hold of us or get upset with other people and allow them to control your emotional state, not to allow, like, when you're patient, you're okay with the fact of being still. I think that relates to Buddhism very well. I was gonna say most religion, but what came to mind was Buddhism. And in my book that I have, The Essence of Buddha, that I'm trying to read lately, it's been talking about the six paramitas or paramitas, which is the six perceptions, or not perceptions, perfections. Sorry, and Kashanti is the perfection of endurance, patience per se. And what it says in this book, it says, Kshanti Paramita is a practice of building inner strength while waiting patiently until the time is ripe for action. In difficult times, it is important to wait for the right time as we continue to develop our abilities instead of trying new things haphazardly. We should wait patiently as if we are waiting for a jar to be filled up with drips of water. This is the attitude of Kshanti Paramita. I keep messing. Sorry if I'm messing that up. If you're Buddhist, I apologize. Um, I used to study very much so Buddhism when I was younger, but I kind of fell out of it. But I'm getting back into it. I see there's beauty in that understanding. But as I was gonna say, it relates to being still, um, and being okay in the moment with what's happening around you and what's happening in the world around you, and just being still and appreciating the moment at hand. Because when you're still, when you're patient, you can then take action when necessary, instead of taking unnecessary action that leads to faulty cause and effect, instead of necessary action that's wise action that leads to a cause and effect of blessings per se. The right cause and effect, the wise cause and effect brings the right action brings the right cause and effect, the cause and effects that is actually going to lead you onto the right path that you need to take, instead of, you know, haphazardly just taking any step that you want to take. You're being patient and watching everything, being wise. And it talks about this in the Bible too. Uh, Seek wisdom, it says in Proverbs. Proverbs is very much a wise book. It's all about seeking wisdom and being patient with wisdom and the knowledge within the world, so you take wise steps and that you can observe the people and areas that you're in, so you know what wise steps to take. So in that is, being patient, and patience is a virtue in the Christian mythos. It wouldn't be mythos, but religion. Um, and then I think in Hinduism, uh, give me a second. I'm gonna grab out the book. What I'm reading from is the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry if I said that wrong. I'm just now studying Hinduism. I'm um, doing my best. Um, but in chapter 2, verse 47, it says, although you are eligible to perform your duties of Kshatriya, Kshat, uh, Kshatriya, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, you have no right to the result of the action. Remember that you are not the cause of the result, and you still cannot shy away from the work. And that teaches us that one should focus on duty without attachment to the fruits of their actions, implying a patient approach to work and results. And then you have in chapter 6, well, I don't know if they're called verses in this, but I'd assume just verse 22 to 23. It's a once he attains this state of samadhi, he knows there's nothing greater left to achieve. He is not perturbed by anything come with may. He is free of all miseries. This state is achieved only by practicing yoga with determination and optimism. And samadhi, I just looked it up because I didn't honestly know what it meant, is a state of intense concentration achieved through meditation. In Hindu yoga, this is regarded as the final stage, at which union with the divine is reached, before or after death. And basically, what this verse is stating is once this person attains samadhi, which is intense concentration, uh, that he knows there is nothing greater left to achieve. You aren't achieving anything outside of you, it's all within you. And he is not anxious or concerned or unsettled with anything. whatever may come. The person who has achieved a state of intense concentration and stillness through patience and practicing and determination and optimism is not unsettled or concerned with anything around them and whatever comes. And so, I guess what I'm getting at with all these scriptures from different spiritual texts is that patience truly does help one obtain what they're looking for in life, which is peace. Because as much as we excuse me, or seek for worldly possession, worldly items, possessions, worldly items, things of that sort, we also truly are trying to like fill a void within us, which is peace. And that's being okay with the moment at hand. And patience helps you in those moments. Patience helps you obtain that peace because when things aren't going your way, or everything is going your way, you're on top of the world or you're sinking to the bottom of the ocean. If you're patient and long enough, you're patient enough, and you're wise with how you take your actions, and you're observing things around you while being patient, things will then in turn go your way. And that's the law of cause and effect, karma, yin and yang. Uh, but we got to remember there's a gray area in everything. And I think patience itself is a gray area. And because you're okay with the fact that it might not be black, it might not be white, but it can be gray. I can be here and I'll be okay and we can rest. Or I can focus or I can move when I need to move. Uh, do what you need to do. And as you can see, in all these spiritual texts, patience is something that is necessary for what they say is basically the nirvana state, the Christ consciousness, the samadhi, the intense concentration, union with oneself, with the divine. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, have patience. Be okay with the fact that things are not going your way right now, or things may be going your way, but be patient with everything. Understand how you're going to move. Watch every step you take. Watch every action that people around you are taking towards you and towards others. If you're patient, you make the right moves. And if you're patient, you're not just sitting, right? You're staying still in the moment. You're observing the moment. And you can then, in turn, when you're patient in thoughts, in the world, in body and soul, you can then take the right decisions for what you need to do, what is necessary, or allow things to come. Because what I like about in like the biblical text is it says in Psalm 37:7, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices." Uh, and what I'm getting from this verse per se, in my perception, my perspective, um, is that we should be patient in waiting for the things that we crave, that we're seeking out. So, as for a Christian, they're seeking the Lord and the Lord's advice, Jesus Christ. And they're seeking out, wisdom and salvation. So, it's saying to be still before the Lord, right? Still, and wait patiently for Him. And so, in turn, when you're still in this world and in your soul, mind, and spirit, well, I guess soul, mind, and body, and heart, when you're still impatient, things that you crave start to end up going away. And things that you genuinely desire and need instead of just want tend to come towards you, at least in my experience. Excuse me. So, I guess more of the story or more of this conversation is have patience. Everything that you want and desire in life, truly need in life, and every place you want to see and things you want to do, will come. Just you gotta be patient. Enjoy the moment, because as I said in that this last video I just made, the first video I ever made, whatever. it's an experience, right? That's what life is the experience itself and your experience. And we get caught up in our phones and other people's lives and social media and all that and just entertainment in general sometimes, and we don't truly enjoy the things around us, the moment at hand. We don't really truly enjoy that video game we're playing or that time we're hanging out with our friends or the work we're doing, because when you put in that work and you're still in the moment, then you enjoy the time at hand later that you've earned. So I think patience will help a lot of us, not just with other people, not just with self, but also enjoying life, the experience of life. So yeah, thanks again for sitting along with my ramble. I hope you all are having a blessed day, blessed night. Persevering, doing what you want to do in life, pushing towards your dreams and aspirations. And yeah, keep doing good, stay patient, stay loving, and have a blessed one. Peace and blessings.